Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News pre-show. If you're watching this live on Prison Plans, you probably noticed we're a few minutes late. I promise you it's for a good reason. We have a hard-hitting report with David Knight coming up a little bit later. Rob Dew's in there editing right now at this moment, so just bear with us for right now, and he'll get that up on the air in the next few minutes. But for right now, for the sake of time, I'll go ahead and read out the top stories on Infowars.com. These are things hot off the press that we didn't have time to cover in the show, and some things that are just recently breaking. Let's go ahead and look at our first article here. MSNBC edit deliberately smears gun owners as Sandy Hook hecklers. Now, I had a chance to watch this video. We won't play it right here. But in this video, not CNN, but MSNBC takes a clip of a gentleman who lost a child in the Sandy Hook incident, and they edited up his words to make it seem like people in the crowd were heckling the man. I'll give you the play-by-play. The guy, he's sitting in the chair, and grieving father. Of course, people understand that. And he says, "Can anybody explain to me why you need a assault weapon, AR-15, or whatever it is that he said?" And he paused for a second, and he let people respond. Nobody responded. And he's like, "Well, nobody can respond to my question." And at that point, people yelled out, "It's the Second Amendment. The right to bear arms shall not be infringed." But if you watch the MSNBC version, they took a chunk out of the man's speech, out of his pause, and made it seem like people were just yelling and jumping at him and yelling at this grieving father, which was not the case. And even the father himself, he said, "I respect your Second Amendment, but he said, also respect my rights and my views and my privacy during this time." And I can understand that, a grieving father, but some of the other people, I'm not going to say any other names besides MSNBC, but some people, big-time talk guys, jumped on it. "Oh, you're heckling this guy who just lost a child." That's not the case at all. That was not the case at all. The man was very respectful, and I believe the crowd was very respectful to him, at least in the footage that I saw of that particular moment. So now people know the truth of that particular incident. Now we'll move on to our next story. Top bodybuilder warns, don't drink the tap water. Now, that's a good look. Put that back up. Let people look at this guy. Now, that's a big guy. That's a guy who's obviously in shape. He's done a few push-ups or two, doesn't look to have too much fat on him, and he's telling you not to drink tap water. And why wouldn't this guy want you to drink tap water? Because even people well, I shouldn't say even people, smart people who know how to take care of their bodies know that you shouldn't drink things like fluoridated tap water. This guy obviously don't, and he talks so in this article. There's also a video where we will not play that right now, but we definitely encourage you guys to go to Infowars.com and check out that article. Top bodybuilder warns, do not drink the tap water. Now, before I get to the rest of my articles here, I had a chance to watch I guess the Senate hearing it was this morning with Dianne Feinstein, Chucky Schumer, and many others. The head of the NRA was there, and I wasn't too pleased with some of the things he had to say. But nevertheless, I'm watching this gun grab, I'll just say what it was. And the thing that shocked me the most, I really wish we could have ran the story today, but we had some other things going on, and I believe we'll include this in the special report tomorrow. Chucky Schumer got on the Senate hearing and compared gun owners to child pornographers. I'm not making this up. Anybody who saw it can go see it for yourself. He said, to paraphrase what he said, he says, "We need to have reasonable adaptations," or whatever the word he was, "to your rights." And he gave the example, you wouldn't allow the First Amendment to allow people to produce child pornography, and you shouldn't allow things like the Second Amendment to allow people to have things like high-powered rifles or 100-round magazines or whatever he was referring to. And I sat there, and I was sitting right next to Dave Knight, and I said, did this guy just compare gun owners to child pornographers? He said, yeah, that's pretty much what he said. So that's what he thinks of you, and I think he wanted to say that he may own a gun or whatever, but, that was completely ridiculous. And like I said, we'll have a special report tomorrow about how if you're a gun owner, they want to say you're a racist and a terrorist and a KKK member and now a child pornographer. And I was surprised to see Senator Lindsey Graham on there, the guy, "Shut up, you don't get a lawyer, you're an enemy combatant," that guy. He was on there, and on the face, I'm very leery of Mr. Graham, but on the face, he seemed to be pro-gun. At least that's what his rhetoric was saying. And he gave the example of the lady, I believe it was in Georgia. I'm pretty sure many of you have heard the story by now. A lady with a 6-shot revolver, guy breaks in her house. She goes and hides, tries to get away from the guy. The guy finds where she is, and she shoots at him. I think she emptied all 6 rounds, and hit him 5 times. And Lindsey Graham brought up the point. He said, what if there were 2 attackers? You know, so let's say, and then he put up the picture of a semi-automatic pistol with a 15-round magazine, and the husband of Gabby Giffords was there, all due respect to the Gifford family. And, you know, he didn't say anything at that moment. Maybe he wasn't allowed a chance, but Lindsey Graham is on there saying, we have the 6-shot revolver in this 15-round semi-automatic pistol. Now, and he said, I don't want to be the one to tell this lady had 2 attackers broken into her home, she wouldn't be able to adequately defend herself. Because people who don't know the story, the guy who got shot with the 5 or 6 bullets, he not only, you know, ran out the house, but drove down the street. So it's not like in the movies, you know, you see James Bond, he kind of flicks and shoots you in the kneecap and the guy falls off a ledge and dies. That doesn't happen in real life, at least not as often as they would like you to believe. So at least Lindsey Graham stood up to you on the face, but I'm still pretty leery of that guy. We'll get back into our articles here. Medical tax on the retail receipts show how we're screwed by Obamacare. And you see this thing right here. And we have an editor's note. After posting the story below, we discovered that Cabela's has explained the excise tax addition to the receipt as a glitch. Okay, and it does not reflect an effort by the sporting goods store to highlight the expense to business of funding Obamacare. So you guys can go see the newly amended, I guess you'd say, report there by Kurt Nimmo. And we'll move on to our next article. 5-year-old faces suspension after building Lego gun. Have you guys heard us talk about bubble guns and Lego guns and Nerf guns and all these things? These complete freak out, over the top, Twilight Zone reactions to things after the Sandy Hook shooting. People were just freaking out everywhere. They're calling the cops on kids. They're shutting down schools because of Nerf guns. And you guys can see it. You can see it right there in the background behind the anchor there. The kid, it's a gun made out of Legos. This thing doesn't even fire a projectile. That thing would break if you dropped it on the floor. But this kid is threatened with suspension after building a Lego gun. And I'm sure many of our viewers have already seen the Alex Jones bubble gun massacre. Very, very popular on the Alex Jones YouTube page. But this is real. I mean, people are just completely just out of their minds, scared of anything that remotely resembles a gun, like the Hello Kitty thing. It's a bubble blower. You know, it's an automatic bubble blower. It's just shaped in the shape of a gun. And if they just want to say, hey, you know, we're a little uptight after these recent shootings, please leave your toy guns at the house, okay, that'd be one thing. But they're calling these kids terrorists. They're putting these things on their permanent records. They're saying these people need to have a psychological evaluation and all kinds of things. You saw the girl with a paper gun, and they shut down the school because some kid had a Nerf gun. A Nerf gun. I mean, I had Nerf guns when I was a kid, and if I don't see what the problem is. These kids are, you know, a lot of them are playing in their front yards, and people call the cops on them. I don't get it. It's just complete knee-jerk reaction. It's completely over the top, and I really wish this would stop. But you have things like they're saying you can't even shake hands in sports anymore because of the flu, the manufactured flu scare. You know, that's a little intense to me, but, you know, they don't want to call that flu-mongering. That's fear-mongering. I guess you call it flu-mongering. We'll move on to our next story. Gunfire in the highway. Illinois school plans code red drill. Now we can go back to that one, McBrain. Yeah, we'll sorry on this one for right now. T.S.A. protester with Fourth Amendment written on his chest wins trial over airport arrest. This guy, young protester, goes to the T.S.A. checkpoint with his shirt off, and he protests and saying, hey, he has the Fourth Amendment written on his chest and talking about illegal searches and seizures. He's arrested for the display of patriotism, and I believe that's his father right there, or maybe a resident. But anyway, his father had good things to say about it. So the guy, he gets arrested, he fights it, and he gets a win in a trial, but I do believe the case is ongoing. But that's what it takes. You have to go and protest. Maybe you don't have to strip down like that guy does. But if more people would opt out of these body scanners and just stand up for your rights, we wouldn't have these body scanners and these pat downs at these airports. Because I go to the airport, you know, I don't fly very much. But when I do, I opt out of the body scanner, then I go and I get patted down, and I've told the story on there, and the TSA guys get mad at me because they told me to hold my arms out and my pants fall down, and I don't wear skinny jeans, so that's kind of what happens. But anyway, and people look at me like, is this guy a terrorist or what's up with this guy? And I'm like, I'm just a citizen that doesn't want somebody taking pictures of my neckage and, so they can laugh or giggle or whatever they want to do in the background and make copies for their friends or whatever it is that they do. And then they say, you want to go to the private room? I'm like, bro, I'm not going in a private room with you anytime. So I'll just stand out here and let people laugh at me or whatever they want to do. So that's what it takes. You got to stand up for your rights. You don't have to get arrested like that guy does, but go stand up for your rights. And anyway, just like they made a big deal about Alex Jones not wanting to take off his shoes. The floors are clearly dirty. You can feel the dirt when you take your shoes off. And just for no reason, the sheer number of people come through there. I've never seen them mop that area. A few times I'm in there, a few minutes while I'm there. I'm sure they do at some point, but it's not a normal thing. And sometimes they report not even taking off their gloves. Now, I can't say anytime that I've received a pat down. Every time I've received a pat down, the person did change their gloves. So I do give them credit for that, but not everybody does. And we've shown you the reports of the T.S.A. guy stealing. One guy said he stole like $80,000. There was that report, I think ABC did, where they tracked the guy down. He was a supervisor, I believe, had stolen an iPad and blamed it on his wife. and they had a guy on video taking the iPad. They show up to his house 2 weeks later. Like, oh, my wife must have stolen it. Like, how did your wife came up to your job and stole something out of somebody's bag or out of the little tote tray or whatever the case was? And that was a reasonable excuse to him. So anyway, keep fighting the T.S.A. All right, we'll go on to our next one. Gunfire in the highway. Illinois school plans code red drill. Now, there's a video on there. I believe it's the second video. I believe that's the second one down. Whatever. There's a video in here. Yeah, that's it right there. That just looks like a scary scene. And I don't believe that's this particular school, or at least this most recent scenario. But you'll see in this video in just 1 second a very intense scenario where they draft kids. I mean, these are volunteer kids that I believe that participate in this particular drill that you see on the screen here. But these are very real scenarios where the active shooter, as they call him, is running down the highway, firing blanks at the kids inside the school. And I mean, I guess if you volunteer, yeah, you can see it right there. Look at the guy. He's firing blanks at these kids as they run down the hallway. And I'm not exactly sure what the point of this may be. I can understand having, your police trained for a situation like this. I'm not saying I want the police state, a SWAT team at every school, but I can understand somewhat having your police do this, but having the children involved, I mean, how does this help the children? I'm not exactly sure, because the plan, as far as I can see from this video, is to, run down the hall screaming. I'm not exactly sure how potent of a response they can get from that. And even when I was in school, not all that long ago, maybe they've changed the plan since then, but when I was in school, the plan was to hide under a desk or behind a wall and lock the door and act like nobody's in the school during the middle of the school day. I mean, it's like 12 noon. People know you're in the school. Not a very competent plan. And I guess this guy must be that's the anchor or whoever. But anyway, that's how they train. And looks like a scary scenario to me, but to each his own. We'll move on to our last article I have right here. Police state gone wild. Couple facing 60 days in jail for rescuing injured baby deer. This is probably the most, well, I can't say it's the most ridiculous thing I've heard all day, but it is pretty up there. This couple rescues a baby deer, nurses it back to aid, at their own expense. And then when, the government finds out about it, they order the deer euthanized. And then they say they want to fine the couple $2,000 and put them in jail for 60 days for the, quote, unlawful possession of a deer. I guess because they didn't go pay their taxes to get their deer vaccinated or put a collar on the deer or, put a tracking device in the deer. Now it's a problem because you have an unlawful possession of a deer, and I'm pretty sure you don't want a deer in your house for the lifetime of the deer. They probably gonna let it go at some time, but they let it go premature. Deer may still be sick and go out there and just die of natural causes because the court has ordered that they get rid of this little baby deer, which is completely ridiculous. I mean, can you not just be a good person anymore? That's what it is. They're fining people, they're taxing people for just being good, decent people. I mean, because you hear the story I think it was a Seinfeld episode. Yeah, it was a Seinfeld episode where, you know, they stood around and watched this guy get robbed, and, you know, then they went to jail for it. Now it's the exact opposite. You know, if you rush in and you help the guy, and, you know, you get in a fight with the bad guy and you beat him up, but in the fray, you kind of knock down the innocent victim. Now the innocent victim wants to sue you because you knocked him down, even though you saved him from getting shot or stabbed or whatever it is. And that's pretty much where we are in this country. I don't know how we got so far, this ninny snitch wussy state where you have to be afraid of everything. You see something and you say something. If a cardboard box blows off the back of a truck and you got to shut down the highway, that has really happened, not making it up. If a cow, you know, standing in the middle of the road calling the National Guard and silliness such as that, I'm not saying that happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. So anyway, that's all I have right here. If you guys have anything else, you can run it into me. But for right now, I'll go ahead and plug this, because this is what Dave Knight's going to be talking about here in the next few minutes. The coming police, well, not the coming police state, the active police state that's going on right now. And that's what Rob does in their editing right now. He has a series of clips where it shows the military and their urban takeover of America. And David Knight brings up a good point. And he says, you know, if you want to go train in Baghdad or some type of, you know, similar city or landscape or whatever, but one of the guys brings up in the video, he says, yeah, we train in the areas we plan to occupy. I'm like, so you're planning to occupy Los Angeles? You plan to occupy Chicago, St. Louis? I mean, why are you training in these urban areas in the U.S.? In the U.S. And, you know, and then they're training with the police, clear violation of the Constitution. And so they got the police training with the military for things such as, well, they didn't so much specify in these clips we're going to show you, but we've heard the urban warfare drills where they're planning to take over your guns, and they actually did it during Hurricane Katrina. It's complete police state takeover. They have black helicopters flying all around, and people say, oh, you guys are making up these black helicopters. You're going to see plenty of black helicopters in this, as well as armored personnel vehicles. Not so much tanks with the big guns on them, but they're probably about as tough as a tank, guys rolling around, and people like, oh, don't ask us questions, just mind your business. And they even admit in this video you're going to see, they almost ran over a car in their big armored vehicle, and they just kept rolling. It's like, whatever, get out the way, guy. So that's what it is. And people act like it's made up. So, okay. Okay, so we have a new video they're telling me, so you don't have to listen to me for too many more seconds. But anyway, it's an oldie but goodie, Alex Jones. But just remember, check out Police State 4 at the Infowars shop. So let's check out this video, Land of the Snitch with Alex Jones.
Even though I'm just a lowly person and aren't part of the greater supreme homeland people in black uniforms that I look up to, I'm still part of the federal family that Janet talks about because I snoop for them. And that's what America's about. Total schizophrenic paranoia. Absolutely thinking the terrorists are hiding under every table. Just think, they all look normal, but you know any of them could be a terrorist. Don't trust the public. Only trust Janet, Big Sis Napolitano, and Homeland Security. That's what I've learned, and that's what I do. Yeah, it's in the Communities Against Terrorism alerts. They've put out hundreds of them. They say people wearing blue jeans are using cell phones of the terrorist. I work at a local internet cafe, coffee shop, and it told me that there were people doing stuff like trying to have privacy or using voice over IP or communicating through PC games. Man, there's nothing these terrorists won't do. But the number one thing they said was they use cash or credit cards. That's a really scary part. There's a lot of them come in there, a lot of them using cash, and some of them even want to be anonymous and have privacy when they surf the web. Those are the ones you gotta watch. It makes me realize that most of the population are terrorists.
There's so many people using cell phones. There's so many people who've got screen blockers, so I can't read what they're saying. There's even more using cash. The terrorist. The terrorist everywhere.
Hold yourself together.
You can do it, though. You can do it for America.
Do it for
Finally,
Janet.
my life means something. with the FBI now. Trust no one but Janet Dung Beetle Napolitano. No one but her.
You've always wanted to be part of an elite team. You got responsibilities now. Now get out there and start spying.
We have a large house blend, please.
All right, let me get that for you. Oh yeah, he's definitely one. Listen, why are you paying cash?
Yeah, you all right now?
I gotta ask you this. It's just a matter of national security. I'm an important person now. Is there a reason you're paying with cash?
It's only a couple dollars. I just usually pay cash when it's, you know, not very much money. Yeah.
Why? I mean, you...
I don't understand how that's any of your business.
But I mean, privacy is not what America's about. I mean, I've got to report you to Homeland Security.
Are you on meds?
No, this is the new Homeland. I mean, the T.S.A. sticks their hands down your pants. I mean,
I just think you're acting kind of weird. I just want a cup of coffee.
all right, yeah, and I mean, with the inflation, it's actually $5 for a cup of coffee. Do you have some more money?
I get a cup of coffee, just regular. It's like
Sure.
a medium.
Sure, medium. Anything else?
I'll get a cookie too.
You get a cookie? All right, sure, I'll get that for you. My God, there's a lot of terrorists. Hold on a minute. Can you pay with a credit card, please?
I don't know if I have enough in my account, so I'm just gonna pay cash. Actually, I have a couple 20s here, so I'm just gonna give you a 20. Is that cool?
Oh my God, they're everywhere. Oh, they're everywhere. Oh, hold on. I gotta get myself together. I'm Jack Bauer, Jack Bauer.
Can you get my change? Can I have that? Thanks. You cool?
You're being watched. The Homeland's keeping you safe, okay?
By who?
Just get out of here. You're lucky. You know, it's a pretty big boost to my ego to realize I'm a good guy because I spy on everybody. There he is. Oh, he's dangerous. You can tell it. I just act like I'm sneaking up on him. All right. Oh no, it's true. He's looking at Infowars. In fact, it says in the report that they visit extremist or radical sites. I gotta track him. I gotta do what they told me. Dun, 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 dun. I can almost hear it now. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh, I'm secret agent. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, I'm brave. I'm just like those guys on TV. Yes, FBI. I've got him. He bought coffee with cash, and he was using a proxy server to search the web. Yes, I've got one of them. He's definitely a terrorist. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. What you just saw is ridiculous. And if you're asking, what in the world did I just see? It's dark satire, comedy. That's very frightening because it's based in reality. The FBI flyer you saw, real. There's literally hundreds of them. They actually say blue jeans, cell phones, call the police, write down their driver's license number if you can get it, write down their license plate number. Are they using AOL or Comcast? You know, call the police on them. They may be terrorists. It's really happening. Now, the dramatization you just saw is the intro to a larger documentary film that we've just gotten close to completing that I'm going to be premiering in Dallas coming up this Sunday, and then the Sunday after that in Florida. Find out details at Infowars.com/events. But never fear, we'll also then be premiering it after I've had those two showings here at Prison Planet.
Okay, so that was a great video. A lot of guys enjoyed that one. I remember watching that one, and Alex and his secret agent voice was pretty good. But a lot of that stuff is true. Not a lot of it. All of that stuff you just saw was true. In addition to that, they're saying if you have certain type of bumper stickers, if you have a Ron Paul bumper sticker, if you have a Don't Tread on Me bumper sticker, you're a terrorist. And like all that stuff you saw in the video was true. If you pay in cash, if you don't pay in cash, if you wear blue jeans, they're saying you're a terrorist. That is not fiction. I know it's satire, but it's not fiction. That is very, very real. If you, I remember I was thinking about this when we went to the Black Ops 2 video game release. They said if you're interested in peak hours and also the best entrance to get into the building, and I was running around telling those guys that I don't think we put that on camera. But I was like, yeah, according to this, you're a terrorist because you're interested in being here at midnight where the peak hours are. And also, these guys all crowded by the door to get in. So I'm like, yeah, that's some high-level terrorist activity. So great flashback piece from the Infowars crew. Now, there's something else I want to mention. And you guys have another video? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that I'll just hold on to my thought. We have I believe it's the first episode of Brothers in Arms. So let's go ahead and get that rolling.
Welcome back to Infowars Nightly News. Viewers know that I am a staunch defender of the Bill of Rights and Constitution. And chief amongst those rights is the right of self-defense that every tyrannical system has sought to curtail. Our country was founded back in 1775, 1776, when the corrupt British Empire attempted to disarm the people.
Lay down your arms! You won't get my gun! My God, we will have them all!
Our ancestors fought back, and our wonderful republic, the United States of America, was born. Well, I seek to defend the Second Amendment via the First Amendment, the right of the press and free speech. And that's why I have produced this first installment of Brothers in Arms with two friends I knew in high school here in Austin, the Steiner brothers and their friend, gun expert and gunsmith Matt Williams. So here is the first installment of Brothers in Arms, shot and filmed right here in Austin, Texas. This is my idea of a gun show. The following program was overseen by certified professionals. Do not try these stunts at home. Self-defense starts with safety. It is essential that before using a firearm, that you seek and receive professional training.
I'm Tommy Shane Steiner, and this is my brother Sid. Along with our pal, firearms instructor and gunsmith, Matt Williams, we're Texans and Americans who support and celebrate the Second Amendment, which makes all of us brothers in arms.
We're out here at the ranch, shooting guns, doing what we did growing up. We brought Matt along, who's our gun expert. Did you guys bring anything out to shoot today? Or?
I brought my H&K 45. Also brought my shotgun as well as my custom lever gun. I know you brought some guns too. What'd you do?
I brought my my trusty Desert Eagle 44. I got the 338 Lapua and the AR-15.
You boys ready to go throw some lead? All right.
Kicking off the show, we had to go with the staple. Melons on a stick. It's very much like a head on a pike.
I just had to take a couple shots myself at the melons.
The 338 Lapua was my most recent purchase. This is the first chance that I got to shoot it.
Send it. Where are you putting your crosshair?
Make that watermelon move.
Yeah, the shockwave, absolutely.
I think it jumped out of the way.
Where'd you put the crosshair?
One thing about this shoot was getting to re-sight in all my weapons.
Send it.
You shoot the melon on the right? Melon down.
The interesting thing about the .338 Lapua Magnum is it was the very first cartridge developed for the sniper role. This thing is so powerful and so fast, it doesn't even see the benefits ballistically until it reaches 500 to 1,000 yards. It's an amazing round.
We got melon. Oh, yeah.
Somebody at the last minute had the great idea to bring these hairspray cans out, and we decided to hit them with the tracer rounds, see if they'd do anything. I didn't really actually think they would catch on the way they did, but we got some pretty cool little explosions out of them. The AR-15 was about 2 inches off and had to use a little Kentucky windage. I was just amazed that the bullets, even though traveling that fast, the tracer rounds were still able to ignite the propellant. Actually, you can feel some heat coming off of those, too.
I think one thing that we can agree on is that you shouldn't make bad decisions with a firearm.
No.
You know, and so that's why I think that the training comes in handy, practice coming out to, you know, and honestly, I mean, how can you have more fun than coming outside and, you know, being on a beautiful ranch and just grabbing a bunch of guns and shooting melons and barrels and, I mean, I think we can think about propane tanks. You know, we're going to think of a lot of things.
We'll have to do that tonight.
This is a .45 caliber RBCD round out of San Antonio. It's a fragmentation round. We're shooting it into clay here to show its dramatic effect. Fragmentation bullet's really designed to destabilize on impact, and what it does is, although it doesn't penetrate on a nominal level, which is usually about 11 to 12 inches in a body cavity, it does explode rapidly, and it creates such a dramatic wound channel. Well, it's not even a wound channel, really. It just splits your target in half. So even if it doesn't kill them immediately, they'll die of shock. Now we're going to look at what the .338 Lapua Magnum is going to do to this clay block.
There's really not much difference between the .338 Lapua Magnum round and the .45. One cuts it in half, and the other one splatters it everywhere.
At the end of the day, I don't think anyone's riding home to mom after this one. The .45-70 is a much slower round than the .338 Lapua, probably half the speed, but it's a much wider diameter bullet offering destructive power at closer ranges.
So if a situation's going on in your house and you don't have time to get out and practice in the field a lot, or your wife doesn't, you think the shotgun is a little better to use?
I think with the right basic instruction, absolutely.
Do you think birdshot would be a good round for home defense?
I think birdshot's actually pretty sufficient. You know, number 6 load all the way up to trap load.
So you don't have to worry about actually shooting through the wall and going into your kid's room.
Right.
Why don't we do a demonstration to show the differences between a handgun and a shotgun as far as accuracy and penetration?
Yeah, the shotgun, when he hits the melons behind us, they're going to pretty much liquefy.
Let's do a little test, see how the shotgun stacks up against the .44.
Let's do it. Pick your poison.
I'll take them both.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll go first. My turn.
Man, the melons are just vaporizing.
I think I like mine.
Imagine what that would do to an intruder.
No right home to mom after that one.
No, and for hitting that melon, it didn't hit any of the rest of the, I mean, it's pretty accurate.
It's a backboard barrel.
I got you.
It tightens the pattern, so it's half the scatter. You could actually do surgery at 50 yards.
And also, even though we hit the melon, it probably went on and would have gone through a couple of walls and. What if I step back 10 steps and shoot a melon?
There you go. Sort of like shooting pool. Just curving around the 8.
There you go.
within 50 yards, there's not a weapon on the planet outside of miniguns that'll match a 12 gauge.
And I understand this is a little more bulky to get around. I just think if I have to shoot and I feel like my life's in jeopardy, I would have more confidence.
Full force, man. Absolutely, absolutely.
Also, what we see in the 55-gallon steel drum is the difference between a full 30-round magazine fired into a 55-gallon drum versus one shot out of a 12-gauge with double-aught buck. Within 50 yards, the 12-gauge double-aught buck has no rival.
From our own grassy knoll right here in Texas, we shot up this barrel. Would you believe, just like Kennedy's car, only 2 bullets did this? Yes, they're magic. Next, the propane tank goes sky high. And then, tracers light up the evening sky. All this and more on Brothers in Arms. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure. And it's available discounted at Infowars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. Infowars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at Infowars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
We lined up about 8 Aquanet hairspray cans, and we fired through all of them. Perfect shot, but they didn't ignite.
Tommy's barrel didn't have the preferred rifling, so not all of the tracer bullets were igniting. But that was okay. We just used some Boy Scout ingenuity to get a fire going. The propane. We decided to put the fully loaded propane tank inside the barrel.
Notice the fire extinguisher there by the barrel. Now that was not an accident. We put it there as the first remote detonated fire suppression unit.
First, let's look at this in slow-mo. This has got to be a first. Tommy actually shot the fire extinguisher seconds after shooting the propane tank and basically extinguished the fire. And all of it was pre-planned, and it worked. thought there's something magic about tracers in the evening sky. It's like something out of a science fiction movie. But seeing it in high def, now that's something. Well, that's it for this first installment of Brothers in Arms. But coming up, our next episode is literally going to blow this one away. It's coming soon to the Infowars. You can see it at prisonplanet.tv.
Wow, I think the entire staff of CNN just collectively pissed themselves. Can I say that? Well, whatever. That was, people keep asking me every time we do a report and we go out to the streets, they say, when's Brothers in Arms coming back? When's it come back? I don't know. You have to call the radio show. Call the radio show and tell Alex you want more Brothers in Arms. Tell him you got a fever. The only cure is more Brothers in Arms. Now, I think, guys, let me know when you have that clip ready. But yeah, it's a good show. I definitely want to see it come back. I'd like to see Melissa and Melton go out there with the AK, and I'm pretty sure our fans would like to see that as well. And we do have that clip, so I want to watch this as if I'm reporting on CNN. Okay, let's play the clip. Okay, so oh man, not fire. Oh man, that's terrible. Now, a little farther back, dude. Just like maybe like 20 seconds. Just jump back. It's okay. Let's see. Big scary gun. There we go. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh my. Oh, okay. Oh man. Oh man. Oh my gosh. I'm traumatized. I got too much in the character on that one. Oh man. The show is ready, right? Okay, an hour and 5 minutes late. This has got to be some kind of record, but it's gonna be worth it. I promise. We have this hard-hitting report about the military occupation of the United States of America. This is very real. Like, we had some fun earlier, but this is a very real report by David Knight. Get this out to everybody you know. All the people who say there are no black helicopters. They say there are no tanks and military vehicles roaming the streets. And the scariest thing about this is these people admit, I believe one of these guys was the captain or in one of the clips, and he's saying we're training to, we train in the areas we plan to occupy. Why are you planning to occupy small towns in LA? Like they are flying over the Staples Center. So without any further ado, we go to the Infowars Nightly News with David Knight.